So you see this guy, he's balancing the 2 pentacles, he's doing the balancing act. And he's on this one, he's on a tightrope. So, it doesn't get much more difficult than this. And yes, the 2 of coins or the 2 of pentacles can be around things that we're juggling, 2 jobs. We've got a lot on at the moment, trying to keep the balance, right? This could be balancing the books, can be business partnerships. But it is about, I think it's considering our options, is weighing up the pros and cons. And the advice of this is take a step back, have a look at the bigger picture. We can get so caught up. I've seen this card come up in people's readings where they're using their work to distract themselves from dealing with something in their life. I'm not really getting that here. That may apply to some of you, but it's the past, right? Foundation. Last week, last month, last year. Either you've been juggling like 2 jobs, 2 situations, or whatever it is. But very much the question has come up now around, well, okay, which one do I commit to? Which one do I kind of really go for? Which seed do I invest my time and energy into? Because I do see that coin, that pentacle, as I always call it the acorn, right? Especially the Ace of Pentacles. The acorn that we plant. So have you been trying to figure out what the potential is here in 2 situations? You may not have even done anything. I mean, pentacles, yes, are around our physical security, stability. Things we can see, feel, and touch, right? Our physical reality. So that can include our physical bodies, our relationships, homes, jobs, investments, savings, all of that wonderful stuff, possessions, right? But this is very much, I kind of feel, especially with this ace coming up here, it's because that's the past. This is where we are now. It's about picking one. And it doesn't mean you're going to drop one of your jobs or whatever, but one of them is back to become your main squeeze. That's what's kind of coming up here with the Ace of Pentacles. And that's what it's going to grow into, that beautiful oak tree. But as you've often heard me say, when we commit to this, and it's a long-term commitment, when we commit to this, we commit to growing the acorn. We don't because we've seen the potential of the oak tree, or we don't commit to the oak tree. I know that sounds kind of bizarre, right? But there is some of that coming in here. With the 8 of Swords coming up, this is the I can'ts. But I can't do that, or that's not going to grow, or that's, yeah, there's potential there, but will I be able to do it? It feels like there's something that you're having to choose. It may be a relationship, because, you've heard me say this before. I'm sure that, whenever I start a relationship, I'd love it to start with the Ace of Pentacles, because that is a physical commitment. It's physical. It can be a new way of earning money, but it becomes the main thing. You can see we've gone from 2 to 1. So we're picking that as our main thing. Now, this is our fears and doubts. Carrie's mum, we call this, right? The 8 of Swords. It's that little voice in our head. It's trying to keep us safe, but it's a nasty little shit that will tell you, you're too old, you're too young, you're too experienced, you're not experienced enough. I'm going to lose money, I'm going to do this, they're going to reject, whatever it is will come up. But the basic message of this is I can't. There's nothing that I can do. I can't do it. Now, that's what our head's telling us. And I get it. We have to live with that 24/7 in our heads. That stuff that's coming up. But why? We'll have a look at why that might be coming up here. What we have, how I feel this is breaking with tradition. It's doing something completely different. Because you've got the Hierophant here. The card at the heart of the reading is what everything revolves around. It's central. That's why it's called the heart, right? It's the beating, the pulse of what the energy is right now. The underlying is the undercurrent. It's what we come in with. It's kind of where our focus is, and it kind of influences. It flavors the rest of the reading. But the Hierophant here is about faith, the prescribed path, the shoulds, the rule book. That's what the Hierophant is. This is what we do. This is how it's always been done. This is how we're going to do it. Now, we do that because we have faith in it. And that faith brings stability and security. There's a lot coming up around stability here. There's a lot coming in around stability. And that's why, I was very much drawn to these cards immediately. Because they all have this kind of... It kind of feels like quality, not quantity. Quality. The one pentacle, the big, beautiful one pentacle that brings it all in, and, not having to juggle all of this other stuff. So let's look at the Hierophant. What kind of tradition? It can talk about commitment. We've got 2 big cards of commitment that come up here. They both talk about commitment. So committing to something, right? But is it what you've always done, or are you planning on doing something new? Do you have faith in something new? Do you no longer have faith in what you were doing before? kind of like a less is more kind of thing. You may have been brought up with this kind of work ethic of, you know, no, you hustle and you do all of that stuff. And it's like, well, no, I could just focus on this one thing. It's a little riskier. You know, it frightens me to do that, but I kind of feel I can make it work because I have faith in it. Faith, that is the Hierophant, faith. The other thing that comes up around the Hierophant is, who taught you that? That's what I would say to you. Who taught you that that is the prescribed path? Now, it may be your religious beliefs. It may be your family beliefs. It may be what society dictates. And that's where the fears come in. That I'm going against the grain. There's a sense of going against the grain here. But that one pentacle has more for you. It has more for you. You see more potential in it. You see the long-term growth in it. And it's a brand new cycle that it brings in. But it's not an easy choice. I understand that. And it feels like you've been doing this for a while, like weighing up the pros and cons. Do I commit to this? Do I do this? Do I plant this seed? Now, what's coming up in the present, we have the Five of Swords. That is a difficult energy, to say the least. And, you know, especially with the Hierophant sat at the heart of the reading, the Five of Swords may be that the reason that the fears are coming up is because you will be seen as selfish. This is the card of someone who can be very selfish. But this is ambition. This is someone who's willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want. Whatever it takes. Which, that will cost us something, right? So I want to say this to you. Libra. Overall, what I'm getting from this message is, there is a situation. It may be romantic. It could be a family situation. Whatever it is, work, right? We talk about the general energies and the generals. You want specifics, that's where you get personal readings for, to have a look at your personal situation. And the personal readings are a different beast altogether. Everything is clarified with the second deck. It's not really possible to do that in the generals. But for looking at the general energy, it's something, I think you've been trying to keep the balance, like playing both ends. Not in a nefarious way. Because you've not known. It's not about that you didn't, you know, you've been going against what you want. I think you just didn't know what it was that you want. But now there's this great push. I want one solid thing, right? And the reason you were doing this, very Libran reason, is this about balance, you know, balancing the two pentacles. But it takes a lot of focus and energy to do that. And this isn't true balance. You've got the big daddy of balance coming in here, your card, Justice, coming up there. But I think this is balance because of expectations that were had of you. Family, relationships, whatever. Societal even. But now there's this kind of fight. And I do like the Five of Swords under the Eight of Swords in one sense. Because it's about the conflict. It's about getting in there. And it does ask, the Five of Swords ask, is it worth fighting for? Is it worth it? I mean, I know that's Seven of Wands as well. But it costs us something. The Five of Swords is a victory card. But it can feel like an empty victory sometimes. So by no means am I trying to say that this is an easy decision. I know it isn't. We wouldn't get the Five of Swords there. Yeah, okay. So we've got the Queen of Wands now. The Queen of Wands is confident. She's fabulous. But you know what? She can be seen in very negatively as well. And you'll hear it. Sometimes you'll hear people, especially when I use this deck and she comes out here. So people don't trust her or they look at her and think, ew, like, you know, who is she? Especially with that look on her face. I love the Queen of Wands. She's sometimes seen as the witch in the tarot. I like her because of her passion. She's true to her passion. She's true to what she wants. She's confident in who she is and what she has to offer. And she takes action based on that. Now she is seen. She comes out into the spotlight when, you know, whatever it is that she does. But she doesn't worry so much about long term. That's the problem here with her. Especially when you're surrounded by all these pentacles. Pentacles is long term. Where is my long term security and stability coming from? But it's about infusing that, balancing that, right, with passion. Are you passionate about it? Is this something that you truly want to do? I don't know. Say, for example, a passion project you have, right? You might be in a relationship, you have a passion project, but the job that you're in, it brings in, you know, it balances the books and stuff. But you have faith in something new. You want to create something new. There's a new path that you feel has opened up for you. And so there can be this conflict here. Well, what if I'm seen as selfish, right? Or, you know, that me, it's all about me. And I kind of feel like Libra's been getting the Queen of Wands, King of Wands energy a lot. Like, you know, the last few reads that I've done specifically for Libra, that has come up. that has come up. So if we remove this for a moment and we look at just the swords energy that's coming up, which is air energy, which is Libra energy, we've got this, I can't do it. Why? Because I might be seen as selfish, or I'm going to have to get into a fight to do this. There's going to be conflict when I choose this. And fives are the agents of chaos. They transform and they bring in change. Things feel very intense when we're in that 5 energy. But you know, we've gone on from the 4. That's why the 5 comes. 4's nothing changes or moves. It's where we pause for a moment. So this is dynamic that comes in with the 5s that, you know, shake shit up almost. From that, we make a decision, or we up the ante, or we do something. This guy fights for, you know, all the swords. He doesn't care who he has to hurt to get it. Now, that doesn't mean that we go out there willy-nilly being awful. It's not about that, and that's what the Queen of Wands is telling us. She is true to her passion. She's true to what inspires her, to her creative energy. So it kind of feels like there's a responsibility. That's what it feels like. Responsibility to something bigger. Now, that may be that, you know, the rules of a company or an institute of higher learning, you know, the energies can play in a number of different ways. But the point is, what is the conflict here with that 5 of Swords? And what are you weighing up? Is it your own needs versus other people's needs? Is it, you know, whatever it might be, the emotion? Well, there's not really any cups coming up here. This is more about doing, building, committing to things. That's what it feels like. But remember that the present is advice. We get advice from the cards, and the advice is be true to your passion. Be true to the fire that's burning within you. Because when we don't act on that fire, and there's a card in Wisdom of the House of Night, which is the Oracle deck that I'll be using, called Lust. And it talks about the same thing, where, you know, you can have passion for something, but which is great, it fuels us to act, that's great. But where we don't act on it, then it burns within us, it consumes us. So that could be inner conflict that's going on. But something that you know that you want to go for. That's the King, the Queen, and the Knight. Even the Page of Wands. They all go for it. They take action. They put their energy out into the world. But yeah, it kind of feels like there's a few raised eyebrows at the very least about what you're planning to do, who you're planning to be with, whatever the situation is. Also, I will say this. You may be envisioning it as a fight, 5 of Swords. You may be thinking this is going to turn nasty. As soon as I turn around and say, yeah, I'm dropping one of those pentacles, whatever that might be, and I'm going to do this, there's going to be a backlash. There can be a fear of that with the 5 of Swords. But it's almost, she is so charming. She's charming. She is magnetic. And I'll just tell you this, Libra, take it from someone who faces this kind of stuff almost every day, that the people that get you, they get you. And that's where I would choose to put my focus on. Because if they can't accept you, if, you know, the only way that people will accept you is if you shuffle, or if you're juggling the pentacles they want you to juggle, then that's not even about you. That's about the use that you are to them. That's the use that you are to them, right? And, you know, you're the one that gets consumed from the inside out. So I kind of feel like with this 2 of Coins, 2 of Pentacles, we've been trying to balance something externally. Maybe for our family, maybe for work. You know, we've been taking on a lot, juggling so much. But there is something here now. And it may be a passion project. It may be a person, you know, that your family or society kind of deems that is not right for you. But the Queen of Wands is very much saying that focus on that. What drives you? You know what drives you. You know what is that fire in your belly. You know where that comes from. So what is that? And is it your truth? You'll know if it's your truth with that 5 of Swords. And only you can decide if it's worth going for or not. And it's almost like once you acknowledge that passion, once you acknowledge this is the action I'm willing to take to get what I want, to build what I want, to commit to the potential. Because you see the potential now. I think for a while you couldn't figure out what the potential was in a certain situation. Now you do see the potential. But now it's about doing something with it. And maybe it's taking the action that is causing the conflict, right? You know, trying to work up the fire or the energy to go and do this. But believe me on this, once you do that, that's where justice comes in. That's true balance for you. That's true balance. That's where, you know, and how is justice done? How is justice done? Justice is done through the truth. One of the earliest meanings that I learned for the Justice card, and we're going back over 20 years now, when I first started reading the tarot, was that, Yes, justice is done, but not everyone sees justice as just, right? Because we all think we're justified in what we do. We all think we're justified in what we do. And so think about it. If you and me, we went to court, right? And we had a disagreement. We were neighbors. We had disagreement. I think I'm right. You think you're right. And so the judge or whoever, they would weigh up the two stories, justice, and then a judgment would be given. A decision would be made based on this. I think that's what's been lacking. There's been a lot of juggling, a lot of weighing up the stuff, but there's been no decision here. And I think because there's no way to make everyone happy in this situation, not with the Five of Swords there isn't a way to make everyone happy. So in which case, you must be true to the fire within you, I would say. Because think about that. If you don't go for what it is that you want to do, whether it's a business, whether it's a relationship or whatever your reason was for not going for it, it will start, there will be negative emotions that come up around that. They will start festering. And so we want true balance where we can truly say, yeah, that may not have worked out in my favor, but it's right for everyone. Or, I get it. This is the fairest way to do this. And justice does show that a situation is dealt with fairly. And it's between what has always been done and a new path that's opening up. Something new is opening up. Now, Three of Wands is around that expectations. This guy is it's that whole waiting for your ships to come in. But why? Why are we waiting for these ships to come in? It's because of the action that he's taken. Right? That's what the Three of Wands is. He's not just standing there saying, that ship looks good. He's not a pirate. He's going to just raid someone's ship. That's his cargo. Excuse me. That is his cargo on that ship. His cargo. And he knows it's coming in for him. Because he had an idea, Ace of Wands. He was inspired by something. Two of Wands, he took action. He took it in a different direction. Now he's waiting to see the results of what comes in. But with the threes, it's always about having a plan ready to go. That's not enough because we're going to do something with this, whatever comes in. We're planning for the future. We're trying to create something. And have a look. So this is very much about, I know it's not easy. I know there's conflict. I know there might be maybe disagreements. You may be dealing with someone who's very ruthless, because the Five of Swords can say, pick your battles wisely. But that's why it's very important to figure out what it means to you. What it means to you. How passionate are you about this? Because when we're truly passionate about something, there's very little we won't do. We won't do. If whatever your reason is to do it, and you've heard me say this a million times, that we can have a billion reasons why we shouldn't do something, the Eight of Swords. We need one good reason why we should do it, why we want to do it, why it's so important to us. That's what she represents here. And once you do that and take the action, because she takes action, she's the Queen of Wands, then it comes in. You get the justice, you get the balance that you're looking for. It's big on balance, which is so cliche to say around Libra. I understand that. Excuse me. But that's what, with justice there, with the Two of Pentacles here, this wasn't true balance. This was almost like compromising. I'm kind of getting that feel of compromising things. Look, my throat's going. Excuse me. So then we have the Page of Coins. That's coming up as your advice, the Page of Pentacles. And I see the Page of Pentacles as the student, the one who's diligently doing his homework again and again, reciting. I always think of when you were a kid and you did your times tables. That's kind of how I see the Page of Pentacles. Looks at the details, goes over it again and again. When I first started reading the tarot, I've been going back a lot to around 20 years ago. That's been a lot coming up in my life that's been taking me back there. It's been very interesting. Which actually was when the North Node was in Cancer last time. So that's interesting for me. But I was thinking that I used to find this card so boring. I was thinking, oh God, when it came up for me personally in my early 20s, it was, this is going to be boring. So, but it's temporary. It's a temporary phase.